Hello! Hello all. Let me just make sure everything's set up correctly. Check the animations. Alright. Let me see here. Get that royalty-free music I found online. And how is the volume of that compared to my talking? That seems fine. I think that might be on there twice. Let's not do that. Okay, so. I have built here 3 AIs. I've done this before, but this one uses what is it called? Chatterbox text-to-speech. So I've voice cloned some voices. I did some voices, put them in a voice clone, and it seems to work out fine. One second, where is all that? Okay. So let's see. We run the code. Okay, yeah, and all that. That seems good. Alright. Believe it's loaded. Oh, you know what? I think I actually am not wearing my headphones. That is very important. Let me actually turn those on. And then settings. Okay. Oh, I see. All right. You know what? I don't know a whole lot about. Let's just let's not worry about the sound until the sound becomes relevant. So, this is running. Sorry, I was up late last night trying to get all this running, and I didn't, like, nap or anything today. Let me, hold on. Is that too loud? That might be a little too loud. No, you know what, I think turn it up, here, and then down a little there. That's probably fine, I think. Maybe like that. Okay. So, got the 3 AIs here. Let me actually pull up the... Yeah, that's very important. Hold on, I gotta move a couple windows around. Let's see, split that into a new window so I can keep track of that. Alright. Which button was it? You are all seated at the Spilled Mug Tavern. The smell of moderately goodish food and slightly better than moderately goodish alcohol wafts around you as you sit at a table with 2 other strange adventurers. You are all here because you received a mysterious letter this morning, telling you that it was vitally important that you be at this location at this time. You don't have any further information. First, you should each introduce yourselves and give a description of your physical appearance. And this is going to take a minute. So I should note, and I guess I'll use the little raven to indicate things. So I should note, the characters are Don Valeno. That's this one here. He's also, you know, the portrait down there. That's an AI-generated portrait, but it's fine. Oh, you know what? I forgot to give this one wings. I can do that later. There is Cole Boilerplate. He's a dwarf with fire powers. And this is Quill Cutter. He's actually a skeleton. Man, how long is this going to take? I mean, it hasn't been the longest yet. Okay. Took about a minute, 20 seconds. Then it takes a little longer to actually put that through the process.
Well, howdy, folks. I'm Cole Boilerplate. Pleased to meet you. My skin's like charcoal, and my beard practically glows with fire. Takes a heap of tending, let me tell you. This here armor ain't just for show. It's a testament to dwarvish ingenuity, modeled after a steam engine, yes sir. It's gotta be top-notch quality, you know, like a well-oiled locomotive.
Okay, we encountered a problem with the WebSocket. Give me a second. Here's the... Let's see. Actually, I don't see. Hold on, we've encountered a problem. What if I turn that off? Oh, you know what? That's probably the problem. Duh. So that needs to be at that needs to be at this value. Then let me just double check. Let me put the sound back on. Oh, you know what? That's almost certainly the problem, isn't it? What if I just click default? Ah, there, okay, there we go. And now if I click this... Okay, it's moving a little bit. Oh, duh. Don't... Okay. You know what, that's fine. Let's activate a guy. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Is that centered? It's gonna bother me unless that's centered. Yep, okay, it was a little off-center.
The aroma of this establishment is tolerable hiss. I am Quill Cutter. As you've likely observed, I am a catfolk skeleton draped in black cowl and teal shirt. My eyes glow with an unsettling green light, and my ears twitch nervously, remnants of a lifelong past. It seems our summons was rather vague. I trust there is a reasonable explanation for this gathering.
Okay. Actually, let me... Where was the filters for that one? Move that back down to that. Okay. And then Don Valeno. You know, while I'm thinking about it, let me just go ahead and... What's that? What's the tools there? Actually, hold on. And
A tavern setting, rather less refined than my usual haunts, but one adapts to circumstances. I am Don Valeno, and as you've undoubtedly noticed, my appearance remains striking. My emerald scales gleam even in this dim light, offset by the maroon overcoat and purple hat. Maintaining appearances is paramount, regardless of location. Edgar seems rather unimpressed with the local cuisine. A raven of discerning taste he is.
So, yeah, he's got a raven named Edgar. Hello? Music? Okay, it just, stops between. Alright. And then, what's that? No, that's not what I meant to do. I don't know why Control Z isn't working all of a sudden. Alright, as you've been introduced to each other, you all have, a few moments to discuss amongst yourselves why you think you've been called here. And what you might have planned. And then we'll just do a random order. Or we'll do the same order. Let me just, Oh, that might help. Then just get rid of that. There we go.
A raven with taste, huh? Well, I reckon we're all in the same boat, or a rail car without tracks if you prefer. Seems like someone wants us for something, and it's likely important enough to warrant this kind of meeting. I'm hoping it ain't nothing too slow. Gotta keep things moving at a good clip, yes sir. Maybe we ought to start figuring out who sent the letter and what they want from us.
Okay, and then response from the Don. I tried getting this to work through CUDA, so that it would run through my 5060 Ti graphics card that I just got in this computer that I just got. But turns out this text-to-speech system just hates everything, I guess. It hates CUDA. Or my graphics card hates CUDA, or it hates the version of CUDA. It's coding dependency stuff. I don't super get it, besides it being inconvenient for me, so...
A rail car without tracks is an apt analogy, a precarious situation indeed. Determining the sender's identity and their motives is of paramount importance. A lack of information breeds inefficiency. I suspect this summons relates to matters beyond simple benevolence. Someone desires our particular skills for a specific purpose. Edgar suggests we discreetly inquire about any recent unusual activity in the area. He possesses an uncanny ability to detect deception.
I mean, I'm sure your Raven thinks he has that. And one response from Quill. No, I could swear I updated that prompt. Waiting for minutes at a time is, Definitely the biggest and worst roadblock I'm experiencing here.
Unusual activity warrants investigation. Shadows often conceal more than they reveal. Hiss. The warlock's influence extends far beyond my personal vendetta. His reach is a creeping darkness. I suspect our summoner seeks leverage against him, perhaps knowledge of his operations. Let us proceed cautiously, for those who orchestrate such gatherings rarely have pure intentions.
Alright. Let me think here. Let me see here. Who all in the tavern? I'm gonna have someone in the tavern come up to them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 areas. So someone from the bar at the front, and there are 4 people there. Huh. I'm actually going to roll that one again. Alright, sure. As you all discuss the mysterious letter you received, the bartender at the bar behind you overhears you. He walks out from behind the bar and approaches your table, saying, hello there, I couldn't help but overhear. You say you received a mysterious letter. That sort of thing does tend to happen at this bar sometimes. It might be from one of my regulars, if I could see one of the letters. Okay. Response will take a little while. You look like you're thinking pretty hard. I'm just gonna... you need a refill, Mac? Yeah. Alright, let me just, more of the house ale. There you go. Oh, how about you two ladies? You been doing fine? Okay, sure.
A bartender eavesdropping. A rather unprofessional display, though not entirely unexpected in establishments of this caliber. Allowing him to examine a letter presents a potential security risk. Discretion must be maintained. However, gathering information from an insider could prove advantageous. A calculated gamble, perhaps. I shall permit Cole to present his letter. His dwarven resilience might withstand any interrogation attempts.
So Don has declared not it. And I forgot to pause the agents, so... Quill is coming up next, even though it should be Cole who's talking. But, that's my own fault, I suppose.
A bartender's curiosity can be a useful tool, or a dangerous trap. Meow. Allowing him to see the letter is a risk, but information gleaned from an insider could prove invaluable. I will observe his reactions closely. Subtle tells often betray hidden agendas. Let us proceed with caution, for appearances can be deceiving in places like this.
Yep, so... Quill has also declared not it. Wonder if Cole's actually going to give the guy the letter. Dum-de-dum-dum-dum. Bread seems ready. I've got to make the salad. Chop, chop, chop. Do. Anything... Alright. Fire's still hot. How's the soup? Soup's still not warm. Also, I do hope the music isn't too loud.
Well now, Don's right, letting a stranger see our correspondence ain't ideal, but horsepower sense says it might be worth the risk. I reckon showing him mine is the least risky. My armor can handle a bit of scrutiny if he tries any funny business. It's important to keep things moving, and getting some answers would sure speed things along. Let's see what this fella knows, but I'll be watching him closer than a train conductor watches his engine.
Okay, so... just like real adventurers, they are immediately suspicious of just anyone who interacts with them. That is fine. Alright, Cole, the bartender accepts the letter that you offer to show him, and he reads it over. He says, yes, I think I recognize this handwriting. Yeah, these letters are, no, that was Crazy Bob. Oh yeah, these letters are from Oracle Bob. Yeah, he lives like a little north of town. He generally just sends people letters telling them to go places, and, well, stuff just kind of happens usually. It's weird. But he is an oracle, so if he sent you here, it probably means something's about to happen. And I don't actually like the sound of that. This is my tavern. Okay. They're at least taking the plot hook there. But that's something they'll have to look into later. Anyways. Alright, Alfred. I need you to roll a Constitution save against the Dragon's Breath weapon. 17. Okay, that's a simple failure, which means you'll be taking full damage, but you won't get the ride-on effect. That's 17 damage. It sucks. It's alright, Alfred. I can heal you.
An oracle, you say? A purveyor of vague prophecies and unsettling coincidences. This oracle's methods are inefficient. Direct communication is far more preferable in business dealings. Still, if this individual possesses genuine foresight, his guidance could prove useful in my quest to regain a hoard. Edgar suggests we investigate this oracle immediately. Perhaps he holds information regarding the wizard who cursed me.
You know, if I manage to get the text-to-speech working on the graphics card instead of going through the CPU, and it actually becomes fast, if that happens, next step is probably figuring out how to put back in the image sending. Because I'm running an LLM with image capabilities, image recognizing, so that would probably be like a little helpful, maybe.
An oracle, huh? Sounds like a fella who needs a good timetable and some proper organization, yes sir. If this oracle sends folks off doing stuff with no clear plan, that's just bad engineering. I reckon we best pay him a visit then. Gotta see what kind of contraption he's running over there. Let's get moving, 'cause standing around waiting for prophecies ain't exactly my idea of progress.
And then one from Quill. This is taking a while. Well, we are almost at the point where I'm just going to set off the combat, and that'll be good.
An oracle interfering with fate. A dangerous game indeed, per. The warlock's machinations likely involve this oracle. He enjoys manipulating events from the shadows. We must proceed with caution and observe his methods closely. Prophecies are often veiled in deception. Let us visit this oracle, but remain vigilant for any signs of trickery.
Alright. One moment. Just as you all decide on a course of action, the front doors of the tavern are kicked in, and in steps a man in dark, blood-stained robes, followed by 3 other people in obvious cultist garb. The man in the robe declares, "All right, we shook down that oracle and he said this was where the legendary heroes would be. Now all we have to do is find them and kill them, and our ancient master will be free to rise once more." The barkeep sees them burst in and says, Oh dear, oh that's very bad. That is Crazy Bob. Yeah, he likes to sacrifice people to eldritch gods. I'm going to go run away now. Everyone run for their lives, he shouts. And several people in the tavern who are close to the door start scattering. And, we'll use this to determine turn order. Looks like Dawn is going first. And whoever goes second will be the guy who doesn't go third.
Cultists disrupting a perfectly acceptable establishment, a most uncivilized intrusion. Eliminating threats swiftly and efficiently is paramount. Prolonged conflict diminishes profit margins. Edgar, prepare for aerial reconnaissance. Assess the cultists' numbers and weaponry. This situation presents an opportunity to acquire valuable information regarding their ancient master. Revenge against my curse's architect may be at hand.
Looks like Quill goes second. Which means Cole will be going third.
Cultists interrupting a perfectly good evening, a most unwelcome development. Hiss. The warlock's influence spreads like a disease. These fanatics are merely his pawns. I shall engage the nearest cultist and ascertain their purpose. Direct questioning is often illuminating. Let us dispatch them quickly, for my patience wears thin with those who disrupt my pursuits.
And then Cole.
Well now, this escalated quicker than a runaway locomotive. Seems like our oracle stuff happening was a bit more literal than I figured. Time to put this armor to good use and get between those cultists and the rest of these folks. Horsepower sense says protecting innocence is always the right thing to do. I'm gonna hotbox my gauntlet just in case they give us any trouble.
Okay. So, the Dawn is sending the Raven over to spy on the enemies. Quill is immediately going to engage the nearest cultist, and I'm going to say these three spread out before him, so... I'm actually going to say the nearest cultist is... this hobgoblin. Cole is probably just going to get ready. He's got his power going. Alright. Don Valeno, you send Edgar to scout out the cultists. You see there is Crazy Bob, who is a human who is wielding punching daggers. There is a hobgoblin who is wielding a ritual knife and has crackling lightning coming off of his other hand. There is an elf who is wielding a short sword and has a small flame in her other hand. And there is an orc cultist who is wearing brass knuckles and does not have any magic crackling from his hands, but he looks pretty strong, actually. Quill, you go up to the nearest cultist, the hobgoblin, and the hobgoblin cultist looks at you and says, "Ah, the Dark Lord provides. Already the heroes flock to us to be slaughtered." He will engage with you on his next turn. And Cole, you heat up your gauntlet. At the start of your turn, you will have hot boxing ready. You see, all four of the cultists have fixated on you all as targets. It is now Don Valeno's turn. What do you do? It's not... Okay, you know what? I'm actually gonna reset this. There's a log, like there's a backup, so they'll have that. But, I'm actually gonna, terminate that. Okay, where is that? Ah! Need to set that boolean, or the, whatever it is, to true. Need to set that variable to true. That's good. And then let me actually just truncate the last little bit there. Oh, wait, that's control. It's this button. Whatever. That's fine. Okay, run this again. Run it sure, run it at some terminal. What? Okay, hold on. Slight problem. Let's see. Need to put a comma there. What do you mean? I changed exactly one line. What do you mean? That's great. Okay, maybe if I clear the cache. Don't make me have to start over, man. I don't want to do that. Alright. I'm gonna have to friggin' start over, I guess. That's great. Maybe if I close and reopen VS Code. Don't you just love coding? I don't care about updates. Something updated today, that's great, I don't care. Okay, yep, we had to start over. It's fine. You know, I can do better anyway. Alright. Everybody, go back to your places. Yes, I know. Don't worry, we'll let you back in a bit, cultists. Give me a second. That's great. Okay. Oh, I also need to put that in a new window. Minimize that. Put this over here. Alright. Good evening, adventurers. You find yourselves at the Rusty Mug Inn. The smell of quality ale and medium quality food wafts around you as you are sat at a table with two other strange adventurers. You all received a letter this morning that bade you to come to this location at this time, and it was signed only The Oracle. There was no further information given. Why don't we all introduce ourselves and give a physical description of how we look? I say we. I'm not there. I'm the narrator. That's not actually supposed... Hold on. Okay, that, I don't know why that activated somebody. I wasn't supposed to do that. You know what? I think I can just get rid of this bit of code. Okay, we're starting over again. Yes. I gotta, like, destroy the backup every time we start a new one. But, okay. Now it won't randomly activate another agent. And, like, I do mean randomly, like, from 1 to 3, whatever. This should work better now. Gotta give it a second to load again. Okay. Good evening, adventurers. You find yourselves at the Rusty Mug Tavern. The smell of high-quality ale and moderate-quality food wafts around you as you sit at a table with two other strange adventurer-looking types. You all received a strange letter this morning that bid you to come to this location at this time. It was signed only by The Oracle. You have no further information. First, introduce yourself and give a detailed description of your appearance. Oh, duh. I didn't activate somebody. I literally just did that fix. Okay, who goes first? Actually, let's go in order. No, let's go with Cole first. Getting me a soda. Delightful. Delightful Dr. Derivative. You know, where's a die that I have that is easy to read? Something's just occurred to me. No, actually, I won't do that. Nah, never mind. That would not look better. I was just thinking about the subtitles there.
Howdy, folks. Name's Cole Boilerplate. Pleased to meet you. I reckon you can tell by the look of me that I'm a dwarf. Charcoal skin and a beard that practically glows like a furnace. My armor here is something I whipped up myself, modeled after a steam engine, dark gray with brass trim. It keeps me moving quick as a runaway train. It's good to see other folks got the Oracle's letter too. This whole situation feels like trying to get a stubborn piston to seat just right.
And then, you know what? Now we'll do the Don's response. I probably shouldn't have said to introduce yourself. I probably should have said describe yourself physically first. I limited them to like 4 sentences, so. Oh yeah, I was gonna... Oh, actually, hold on. Yeah, there it is. Got a whole jar of D20s here. Sure, one of these is readable. In the not so bright of my room. Let's see here. Okay.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr. Boilerplate. I am Don Veleno, and as you can see, I'm not precisely of this world's usual stock. My scales are a vibrant green, complemented by horns and wings. A rather inconvenient combination for formal attire, wouldn't you agree? One must adapt, naturally. My tailor has been most accommodating with the tail slit in my trousers.
Yep. It's not a fantastic, description, but that's fine. And Quill. Okay, yes, this D20 is very easy to read. Much better than those other ones. I got one that's like gold text on a swirly goldy sort of thing. Got one that's digital numbers font. Not very easy to read in this lighting. But this one's just plain white with red text. Easy to read.
The shadows cling well to a cat like me. I am Quill Cutter, and as you can see, I'm not exactly built for polite company. A black cowl hides most of my skeletal frame, though the green glow from my eyes and ears gives away what I am. This whole oracle business smells fishy, but a job's a job, purr.
Alright? Okay. Having said all that, none of you still have any idea who this oracle is or why you might have been summoned here. There are other patrons in the tavern, and there are the tavern owners. Around the tavern, there appears to be a table with two groups of elves and a man in a coat. A table that has four frog people sitting around it, discussing something. The bar on the far side of the tavern has a man in a hood and a man in a traveling cloak. Both of them seem intent to keep to themselves. And at the bar next to you, there are a pair of ladies chatting merrily, a surly-looking man nursing a mug, and the tavern owner. We'll do a bit of potential roleplay. So, let's have Quill respond.
Those frog folk look like they're hiding something. Amphibians always do. I'll take a
Racist.
closer look at them. Hiss. It's likely our oracle has an interest in whatever they're discussing, and it wouldn't hurt to know what that is. A little eavesdropping never hurt anyone, especially when you've got nothing better to do than wait around.
Alright. Yeah. Alright, Quill. That's a little racist, but okay. You go over near to the table of frog folk in the back, and try to listen in on their conversation. They appear to be discussing a business venture. They appear to be sailors who sail cargo ships. One of the frog folk, a short one in fine robes, says, yes, I do believe, yes, this, oracle, yes, will definitely, yes, become a good asset to our endeavors if we can, yes, get him on side. Another of the frog folk, one with a pair of goggles and a tool belt, says, I don't know. If there was an oracle, like, who could actually see the future, he'd probably know we were coming to talk to him. Don Valeno, you get to decide something to do.
Most intriguing. A business venture involving an oracle. How delightfully unconventional. I shall consult Edgar for a more discreet assessment of the situation. A raven's perspective is invaluable in these matters. It seems our associates are attempting to acquire some sort of foresight, which could prove quite profitable if properly leveraged. Perhaps a small investment is warranted, though one must always assess risk versus reward, naturally.
Okay, he sends Edgar over. Able to double check here. Alright, Don, you send Edgar over to also take a look at the frog folk. A quick flyover sticking to the ceiling, he is able to see into the book of the shortest of the frog folk. It appears to be a business plan. It seems they are planning to use the Oracle's guidance to plot the best possible routes for their shipping, and how best to avoid extreme weather. Certainly something that has room for investment, based on what Edgar can see. Cole, you are now up. You know what, I'm gonna mess around with the text some more. What if I just set it to Arial regular? That seems readable, I think.
Well, I'll be hornswoggled. Seems like these frog folk are trying to run a business with a little divine help. That's clever, I reckon. It reminds me of calibrating the pressure gauges on a locomotive. Gotta account for every variable if you want smooth sailing. I think Don's got a good eye for opportunity here, and I wouldn't mind taking a look at that business plan myself. Might be worth investing in something with such reliable horsepower sense.
Okay. Well, they all have expressed an interest in the Grung sailors. Alright. It sounds like Cole is the only one who actually openly approaches the table with the frog folk, and they do notice him approaching. One of the frog folk, wearing a fine red shirt, speaks up and says, hello there! Can I help you with something? Can I help you with something? Oh, and yeah, we'll have Cole respond. Oh, do they not remember the Oracle thing? I mean, did the prompt get truncated? Hmm.
Howdy, I say, giving a friendly wave. Just overheard y'all talking about an oracle and some shipping routes. Sounds like a mighty fine operation. Seems like a good opportunity to see if there's room for a dwarf with a knack for engines and a bit of coin. Might be able to offer some advice on streamlining things, or at least learn a thing or two myself.
Okay. The frog folk seems, okay with that. He says, yes. Well, right now, the biggest hurdle we have is actually finding this oracle. Right now, we don't have any leads. Don Valeno, what do? You also hear this. As a reminder, they are talking about the same oracle, probably, that sent you the letters that summoned you here.
Finding an oracle presents a challenge, certainly, a logistical inconvenience, if nothing else. I shall offer my assistance. Locating elusive individuals is often best achieved through subtle inquiries and strategic leverage. A modest investment in their search would be prudent, naturally, with appropriate returns expected. It appears this situation has the potential to become quite lucrative indeed.
All right. As you offer your assistance, the shortest of the frog folk with the business plan says, any assistance locating the oracle would be greatly appreciated, of course. Do any of you have any information, any correspondence anyone you know might have received from this oracle? Anything that could point to basically anything about them? Any plans, any desires? We'll have Quill respond. Okay, he's just ignoring the currently being spoken to people.
I've had dealings with those who dabble in the mystical before, meow. Perhaps a few questions for the hooded man at the bar would be worthwhile. They often know more than they let on. It's unlikely this oracle is entirely forthcoming about their desires, so we need to find someone who might have been used by them. A little pressure can loosen tongues, especially when dealing with secrets.
Alright. Quill, you go up to the hooded man sitting at the bar, and, he turns to look at you and says, "Ah, a fellow mysterious hooded stranger with a dark past, I can tell. What can Crusher Bloodthorn do for you?" More lemonade, Mr. Bloodthorn? Oh yes, thank you. Love lemonade.
I'm looking for information, I say, my voice low and gravelly, specifically about an oracle who seems to enjoy sending cryptic invitations. Crusher Bloodthorn, you say, a fitting name for someone who deals in shadows, per. Perhaps you know something about those who manipulate fate, or at least where they like to drink.
Alright. Crusher nods his head gravely as you mention the Oracle. Yes, I am familiar. Oracle Bob, they call him. He lives around these parts. He's a bit of a rude man. He tends to send missives and instructions to people, knowing they'll be followed, and not really bothering to explain things. They generally work out for the best, but it's still pretty rude. If he sent you here, it must be for a reason. And then... Hold on. This keeps rolling 5s. Okay. We'll have Don Valeno respond to that.
Oracle Bob, an amusing moniker. One suspects his manners are as lacking as his communication skills. It seems our quarry possesses a certain disregard for proper etiquette, which I find rather unprofessional. I shall add, locate Oracle Bob to my ledger. Efficiency demands we proceed directly. Perhaps a small token of appreciation is in order for Mr. Bloodthorn's assistance. A business transaction, naturally.
Okay. Crusher shrugs and says, I don't really need much. If you want to repay me, when you see Oracle Bob, tell him he sucks. You'll agree with me by the time this is over, I'm sure. Meanwhile, one of the frog folk overhears, and the one with the goggles and tool belt says, Oh, so the Oracle does know the future, because he sent some people to come talk to us, I guess. That, or this place is, I don't know. These guys look pretty fight-ready. This place might also be about to be attacked. And, wouldn't you know it, just as soon as he says that, the doors to the tavern burst open, as 3 people in cultist robes storm into the tavern, and behind them, is a menacing man in visibly bloodied, hooded robes. The man in the bloody robes looks around and says, Ah, my dark god was correct. This is definitely the place where the heroes of prophecy shall arrive. We must destroy them so our god may rise. The tavern owner sees this and shouts, Oh no! Crazy Larry's actually gone and done it this time! Everyone run before he gets out the ritual daggers! And the people in the bar start to scatter. And let's have Cole respond to that. Actually, yeah, we'll have them sort of around. She would run to the kitchen. This guy... No, actually, he's just going to sit there. He doesn't care. This guy also doesn't care. These two are pretty close, though. They're going to run. And this guy is also going to make a break for the kitchens.
Well, I reckon that's a right fine way to ruin a perfectly good evening. Seems like Oracle Bob's got himself tangled up in something messy, and now we're knee-deep in it too. Time to fire up the armor. Looks like this here situation calls for some horsepower and a bit of hot boxing. I'll keep an eye out for those cultists while y'all figure out what to do next. Gotta protect these frog folk. They seem like decent folks.
Okay, so he's going to stand by the frog folk. Good plan, good plan. And then, highs and lows. Okay. Don Valeno goes next. Actually, no. Quill goes next. I misread that. I actually need a quick break. I'm sure he'll say something by the time I'm done here, but I'm sure he'll say something by the time I get back, but don't worry about that.
Cultists and a bloodied robe. This just keeps getting better. Hiss. I'll summon my blade. It seems a bit of unpleasantness is unavoidable. Let the others handle the frog folk. I have a score to settle with someone in those robes. Time for some justice, served cold and sharp.
Okay, I'm back. What did he say? Cultists and blah, blah, blah. Alright. Okay, good plan. I'm just gonna put him a little further over here. And Don Valeno gets to say something. And then we move to combat rounds, I guess. Okay, looks like he is starting off the combat already, so we'll just go in turn order, I guess, because it'll be Cole next, then Quill, and then Cole. Yeah, that makes sense. Dang, this takes a while.
A most unfortunate development. Cultists rarely appreciate sound business practices. It appears our oracle has attracted unwanted attention, a consequence of meddling in affairs beyond his comprehension. I shall utilize Command Greater Nature to create a diversion. A sudden growth of thorny vines should impede their advance momentarily. Let us ensure the frogfolk are adequately protected while we assess this escalation.
And background effect. Brush size, turn that down a bit. Alright, Don Valeno officially begins the combat encounter by using his draconic magic and causing bursts of thorny vines to sprout up in front of the cultists who are still standing at the door of the tavern. Crazy Larry points at Don Valeno and then at Quill Cutter and Cole Boilerplate and says, "Minions! Those must be the heroes of prophecy! You can tell because they look very out of place here. And also they're attacking us. So kill them!" One of the cultists takes out a ritualistic-looking short sword and begins trying to hack away at the vines. It will take them some time to get past the obstacle. Cole, it is now your turn. What do you do? Okay.
Those vines are a good start, but we need to move quicker than that. I'm going to activate my Matrax ability and get some height advantage. A dwarf's got to see the whole battlefield before he starts firing. Time to use this armor speed to flank those cultists while they're busy hacking at Don's vines. Might even give one a good cow catcher shove just for being rude enough to interrupt my dinner plans.
Alright, Cole, activating the wheels on his metal boots, begins running along the walls of the tavern, leaving behind a trail of train tracks. Using this height advantage, he is able to get a good look at all the cultists. It seems that there is Crazy Larry, the cultist in bloodied robes. There is an orc cultist. There is an elf cultist, and there is a hobgoblin cultist. And as Cole is laying tracks along the walls, he sees the orc cultist step forward and, using his own brute strength, attempt to start ripping the vines out of the floorboards. They are starting to make a path through the vines. Quill, it is your turn. What do you do? Oh, I should have asked for a specification.
That orc's brute force won't solve anything, meow. I summon a spectral rapier, its edge shimmering with emerald fire. A swift strike to the orc's legs should slow his progress and give Dawn some breathing room. Time for this skeleton to dance.
That's a good one-liner, at least. Okay. Alright, Quill, you attempt to hit the orc cultist, and with a roll of 12 on the die, you do manage to hit him, dealing 1 point of damage. What extra effect does your rapier have? Actually, I'll tell you what it is. It lets off a burst of flame that attempts to hit the one next to him and fails. So you managed to hit the orc cultist, but the extra effect of your enchanted weapon did not activate. Meanwhile, the hobgoblin cultist raises his hand and sort of directs the green flame left over from your attack to burn away more of the vines. The cultists have cleared a path through the vines so they can move into the tavern. Crazy Larry steps forward and points at Quill and states, "My dark master has given me power! Power to destroy!" He shoots a bolt of dark energy at you. And with a 14, he hits you, knocking you down from 3 hearts to 2 hearts, Quill. It is now Don Valeno's turn. So let me... And then also, let me see, where's that? Oh, there they are. I'll just put a mark here.
A rather inefficient display of force from our feline associate. 1 point of damage hardly constitutes a deterrent. The hobgoblin's manipulation of residual energy is irritating. Clearly, we require a more decisive approach. I shall employ venomous words to discourage further aggression and create some distance between us and those cultists. It appears this situation demands a swift resolution, and perhaps a reassessment of my investment strategy.
Alright, Don. Just to clarify, each character in this scene has 3 hearts, so 1 point of damage is decent. Anyway, you step up to the cultists, who are all still grouped up by the door, and breathe a cone of sickly green poison over all of them. They will each have to roll to see if they take damage from the poison. The orc cultist fails his roll, taking another point of damage. The elf cultist fails, taking 1 point of damage. The hobgoblin cultist succeeds and takes no damage. And Crazy Larry, who has 5 health instead of 3, fails, taking 1 point of damage. So our cultist is 2 hits down. Elf cultist is 1 hit down. Crazy Larry is 1 hit down. And the hobgoblin is fine. Okay. Oh, I forgot to specify. Cole, it is now your turn. What do you do? Oh, I forgot to have the cultists go.
That's a right mess of inefficiency I'm seeing. A waste of good horsepower. Time for me to add some heat to this situation with my hotboxing ability. Those cultists need a proper scorching. I'll focus on Larry, that fella looking like he's got the most juice behind his spells. A little fire magic ought to convince him we ain't messing around.
Alright. Alright, Cole. You rush towards Crazy Larry, your gauntlets glowing red hot, and you attempt to hit him. And you succeed, knocking him down an additional 2 hit points. Crazy Larry is now at 2 health out of 5. But that does leave you in the middle of all of the cultists. The orc cultist attempts to hit you, Cole. And he misses. His blow glances off of your armor with a roll of 3 on the die. The elf cultist ignores Cole and goes for Don Veleno and attempts to hit him. And with a roll of 11, the elf fails. The hobgoblin cultist also moves to attack Cole and rolls a 1 on the die, missing entirely. It is Quill's turn. I'm not doing this in the proper order. It doesn't super matter. But I need to get like a turn tracker or something. Or just remember better. Who knows?
That brute's missed swing was a lucky break. Purr. I summon a spectral crossbow, aiming for Larry's exposed flank. He seems rather preoccupied with his theatrics. A quick shot should finish him off and give us some breathing room. It reminds me of the time I took down Baron von Hess, a pompous fool who thought dark magic could solve everything.
Okay. Alright, Quill, you summon a magic crossbow that is enchanted to have infinite ammo. You attempt to shoot Crazy Larry, and you miss. Crazy Larry, feeling the damage he's taken, gives a dark chuckle. You are proficient, heroes, but my Dark Master provides, he says, and he withdraws a health potion and drinks it, gaining back 1 point of health. He is now at 3 hearts. He draws a second health potion and seems intent to drink that on his next turn. Don Valeno, it is back to your turn.
The continued reliance on potions suggests a distinct lack of strategic planning, a weakness we should exploit.
I'm trying, man.
I shall utilize Call Debtor to ascertain if any of these individuals owe me a favor or possess assets ripe for acquisition. It appears this Larry fellow is proving more resilient than initially anticipated, requiring further persuasion. Edgar, please observe Larry's movements and report on the origin of those potions. Such resources are valuable.
Okay. Alright. Don, you attempt to find a debt owed to you by one of these cultists. Unfortunately, with a roll of 6 on the die, you do not find any outstanding debts. It seems these are not the kind of cultists that are prone to making debts with legitimate businessmen. Meanwhile, Edgar heeds your command and does a quick flyover to look at Crazy Larry. And Edgar reports to you that Crazy Larry seems to have on him a total of 3 health potions. One that he has already drank, one he is holding in his hand, and one that is in a pouch on his belt. Cole, it is back to your turn. Actually, before Cole's turn, the orc cultist continues attempting to hit Cole, and continues to fail with a roll of 5. Now it is Cole's turn. What do you do?
That Larry's getting mighty smug with those potions. Reckon he thinks he can outlast us. I reckon I need to disrupt his supply line. Time for a little cowcatcher action. I'll aim to shove him towards Quill so he can't reach for that next potion, and maybe give him a bit of a tumble. It's like trying to keep Cole from spilling out the tinder. Gotta be quick and decisive.
Alright, Cole, you make a loop around the orc cultist, still pitifully trying to beat at you through your thick armor, and attempt to reposition Crazy Larry to be next to Quill. And with a roll of 15 on the die, you manage it, shoving Crazy Larry all the way forward next to Quill. Meanwhile, the elf cultist continues to attempt to hit Don Veleno. And with a roll of 16 on the die, she manages to hit. Don Veleno, you take 1 point of damage, bringing you down to 2 hearts. It is now Quill's turn. What do you do? Oh, these are backwards. Oh, forgot to proc him. Hold on. There.
That clumsy shove put him right in my sights. Hiss. I summon a spectral rapier, its edge shimmering with frost, and aim for his exposed side. A quick thrust should discourage any further potion-guzzling antics. It reminds me of the time I dealt with Silas Blackwood, always hoarding trinkets and potions like a magpie.
Alright. Okay, Quill. You attempt to strike Crazy Larry with your frosted rapier. And with a roll of 3 on the die, you sadly miss. The Hobgoblin cultist raises his hands and shoots a spear of flame at Cole. And with a 17 on the die, he actually manages to hit. Cole, you take 1 point of damage, bringing you down to 2 hearts. Crazy Larry then drinks the potion he has in his hand, healing himself for another point of health. Crazy Larry is now at 4 points of health. Don Valeno, it is your turn again. Crazy Larry seems to be reaching for his 3rd potion. And which one was Crazy Larry? Oh, I've broken something. Okay, there we go. Oh, I can just draw outside the lines. Okay, well, I'll remember that in future. Actually, I don't know if I can draw it. Well, you know what, whatever. Ah, I see. He's forgetting which actions he's used already. That's great.
That elf's attack was a minor inconvenience. 2 hearts remain, hardly cause for alarm. This continued reliance on potions by Larry suggests an underlying insecurity, a weakness I intend to exploit. Command: Greater Nature. I instruct the nearest potted plant to entangle Larry's legs just as he reaches for that final potion. Edgar, ensure the plant's roots are particularly persuasive.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask for, like, a new one. Don Valeno, you have already used Command Greater Nature this scene. Choose a different action. He's trying the... Okay, he's already done that one. I gave him 5 commands, he's used 3 of them. You know what, I'll allow it. I need to rebalance this if they're gonna keep forgetting which moves they've used and haven't used. Of course, I'm gonna be honest. Cole and Quill kind of fill the same battle niche of hit thing really hard and also make weapon with special effect. Although, neither of them have actually specified that yet. Like, Cole's supposed to invent things, Quill's supposed to summon weapons with weird magic effects on them. Yeah, I need to, I guess, rebalance the teams. I've got some ideas.
A regrettable oversight, my apologies. One must maintain meticulous records, even in the heat of negotiations. Very well. I shall employ venomous words to disrupt Larry's concentration, and hopefully dissuade him from further potion consumption. A brief blast should suffice to momentarily incapacitate him while we reassess our strategy. Edgar, be prepared to capitalize on any resulting disorientation.
Okay, you know what, I'll allow it this time. It's my fault for forgetting that they, forget. You gotta rebalance things. Sure. Okay. Don Valeno, you loose a burst of your poison breath at Crazy Larry, and the elf cultist is also caught in the blast. They will both have to roll. Crazy Larry fails the roll, taking a point of damage and bringing him down to 3 hearts. The elf cultist also fails, taking a point of damage and bringing her down to 1 heart. Cole, it is your turn. I'm not gonna backseat, but I gave Don Valeno an explicit ability involving Edgar the Raven. And then this one. Oh, forgot to proc Cole. That would help. Actually having them start generating the words. I keep forgetting to have the cultists go. You know what, I kind of feel bad for the orc cultist. Like, his whole thing is, I am big McStrong. I punch with fist. And he's up against the guy in...
That's a fine bit of work, Don.
In armor.
Little like getting the boiler pressure just right. Now that Larry's slowed down, I reckon it's time to finish him off proper. I'll activate my hotboxing ability and charge forward, aiming for a solid hit with my gauntlet. It's got to be quick. Don't want him reaching for another one of those potions again.
Alright. Okay, Cole, you charge at Crazy Larry, attempting to hit him with your heated gauntlets. And you roll a 16. That is a successful hit. You deal 2 points of damage to him, leaving him at just 1 health. Meanwhile, the orc cultist is still trying to hit you, Cole. And still failing. The elf cultist takes another swing at Don Valeno and manages a hit. Don Valeno, you take 1 point of damage, bringing you down to just 1 heart. It is now Quill's turn. What do you do? I dropped a die down there.
Oh, there it is.
I dropped a real nice big print die I had the other day at this desk. It was not fun. I mean, I still don't know where it is. So, not fun. And it seems they are electing not... It seems he's electing not to try and finish off the cultist. Eh. Oh, and, let's see.
That fool still thinks he can scratch me, I'll summon a spectral shield, shimmering with arcane energy, to deflect any further attacks. Then, using you, I mark the elf cultist as my target. She's clearly the weakest link here. A swift strike from my rapier should end her quickly and quietly, like catching a mouse in the dark.
Alright. I mean, he might actually take down a cultist. Alright, Quill. You mark the elf warlock as your target and attempt to strike her. You will get 2 rolls at this, and I will take the better roll. And with a roll of 16, you manage to strike her with your, I believe it was a frost rapier. Tell me how you defeat the elf warlock. I'm sorry, I meant to say cultist. Tell me how you defeat the elf cultist. And then I'm gonna let Quill decide how that happens.
The little thing barely had time to yowl before my rapier found its mark. Hiss. A flash of frost enveloped her as the blade pierced through, silencing her pathetic attempts at resistance. It was a swift and merciful end, really, like swatting a bothersome fly. Now, perhaps someone can finally explain why we were summoned by this oracle. It's terribly inconvenient for my nap schedule.
Nap? Yeah, cat, right. That's right, I did tell him to say funny cat things to make him less serious. It caught me off guard is all. Alright. Okay. Quill strikes down the elf cultist, removing her from the fight. The hobgoblin cultist sees this and summons a bolt of electricity, which he attempts to throw at Quill. And he misses. Then, Crazy Larry, having not been stopped, draws and consumes the final healing potion from his belt, bringing him back up to 2 hearts. He gibbers maddeningly, or he gibbers in madness at the 3 of you. You wretched fools! My dark master assures me that I will become all-powerful once I defeat you. It is back to Don Valeno's turn. What do you do? Okay, he's checking his ledger again. Honestly, I don't actually know how powerful that ability is. I didn't give it a specific, like, anything. Yeah, that one's actually pretty open-ended, so, I'm fine letting him do that multiple times. Also, he specified this time, so it might go better for him. Oh, for goodness sakes. Dogs.
The ramblings of a lunatic are hardly worth my attention, though the mention of a dark master does pique my interest. I shall call debtor and see if this Larry owes anyone a substantial sum. Perhaps a little financial pressure will quiet his delusions. Edgar, note down his name and any associates for future acquisitions. A swift resolution to this unpleasantness is required, so I may return to more profitable endeavors.
Alright, Don. You attempt to find an outstanding debt that Crazy Larry has. And with a roll of 5 on the die, you do not find one. The orc cultist is still trying to hit Cole. And with a roll of 13 on the die, he finally manages to connect a hit. Cole, you actually feel hurt when the orc cultist manages to hit one of the bolts in your armor in just the wrong way, dealing 1 point of damage to you and bringing you down to 1 heart. It is now your turn, Cole. What do you do? Okay, he's trying to use 2 moves, but, you know, one of them's kind of actually,
That ornery orc got lucky with that hit wrecking.
He
I
did.
need to tighten up my armor joints a bit. Time for some horsepower sense. I'll activate my rail buffer ability and brace myself for whatever he throws next. Then I'll follow it up with a cow catcher, trying to push him back and give us some room to maneuver. This ain't no time for dawdling. We gotta shut this down quick.
Okay, Cole, as a reminder, you can only use 1 special ability per turn. Anyway, you activate your rail buffer, guarding against the next hit someone tries to make against you. And you attempt to just punch the orc cultist normally. And with a roll of 15, you succeed. Tell me, how do you defeat the orc cultist?
That orc didn't expect a punch like that. Felt like knocking over a tin can with my fist. I put every bit of force I could muster into it, sending him stumbling back a good few paces. He looked dazed and confused, so I reckon he won't be causing us no more trouble for now. Now, let's get this show on the road and find out why we were dragged here.
Alright. With a mighty punch, Cole knocks the orc cultist to the ground and out cold. 2 enemies remain. The hobgoblin cultist, who has 3 hearts, and Crazy Larry, who has 2 hearts left. It is Quill's turn. What do you do? And activate Quill. Mustn't forget to actually activate the agent.
The hobgoblin cultist still poses a threat, and his persistence is irritating. A quick flick of my wrist summons a shimmering net, a simple enchantment really, to ensnare him. I'll maintain distance while he struggles, no need to get fur ruffled. Perhaps a little feline grace will be enough to subdue him before he can cause any more trouble. Purr.
Now look at this net that I just found. When I say go, be ready to throw. Go! Alright, Quill, you summon a shimmering magic net and throw it at the hobgoblin cultist. Unfortunately, with a roll of 4 on the die, the hobgoblin cultist is able to react fast enough to slash a hand of magical fire through the net, destroying it and not getting tangled up in it. That counts as the hobgoblin cultist's action. Meanwhile, Crazy Larry is looking a little crazier than he was before now that 2 of his minions have been taken down. He attacks Cole, lifting a fist crackling with dark magic and shouting, "My Dark Master is mightier than your armor, Metal Man!" And with a roll of 15, he manages to hit Cole, reducing him from 1 heart to 0 hearts. Cole is now unconscious until he is healed. It is Don Valeno's turn. What do you do? Bad luck, Cole. Hold on, let me just make sure I have this in case he gets healed. Dang, it's too bad nobody stole those healing potions that the that the boss had. Am I right? Am I right, fellas? Oh, forgot to proc Don Valeno to speak.
That fool Larry dares attack a business associate. Most unprofessional. I shall utilize venomous words to discourage his further outbursts, and perhaps dissuade him from future unpleasantness. Edgar, ensure you record this incident. A debt will be collected for such insolence. It appears our oracle has summoned us to a rather chaotic gathering indeed.
Alright, Don. You spew more poison at Crazy Larry. Crazy Larry succeeds on his resist roll, so he takes no damage. Quill, it is your turn. Because Cole is unconscious, his turn is getting skipped until he is healed.
That fool Larry's resistance is disappointing. A quick flick of my wrist summons a spectral dagger. A simple distraction, really, to draw his attention. I'll use cat-like tread to reposition myself behind him while he focuses on Don's words. Perhaps a surprise attack will prove more effective than brute force. Meow.
Perhaps. Alright, Quill, you slip into the nearby shadows, hiding yourself from Crazy Larry as he is distracted. You will get 2 rolls to attempt to hit him. The first roll is an 8, which is a failure. The second roll is a 12, which succeeds. You successfully manage to strike Crazy Larry, dealing 1 point of damage to him and bringing him down to 1 heart. The Hobgoblin Cultist sees you strike his boss and attempts to hit you with a magic rock, Quill. And with a 16 on the die, he manages to hit you, bringing you down to 1 point of health. Crazy Larry attempts to strike Don Valeno and fails. It is now Don Valeno's turn. What do you do? I've just remembered Cole had Rail Buffer up, so he actually did not take 1 point of damage when he took damage earlier. My apologies. Cole, it is actually your turn. We skipped you, I'm sorry. What do you do?
Well now, that's a right mess. Looks like Larry got himself in a heap of trouble. Time to get back in the game and see if I can't even things out a bit. I reckon I'll use Rail Buffer to take a hit for Quill, then give that Hobgoblin Cultist a good old-fashioned knuckle sandwich. Gotta keep this train running smooth, you hear?
Alright, Cole, you have intercepted the hit that was meant for Quill, so he also did not take any damage. For reference, everyone's current health is Cole at 1 heart, Don Valeno at 1 heart, and Quill Cutter at 2 hearts. Then, Cole, you attempt to punch the Hobgoblin Cultist. And with a 15 on the die, you succeed. dealing 1 point of damage to him. The enemy's health is as follows. The Hobgoblin Cultist has 2 hearts left. Crazy Larry has 1 heart left. Now it is back to Don Valeno's turn. What do you do? Finally, somebody hits the Hobgoblin, by the way.
A most agreeable display of teamwork, though I confess a preference for more decisive solutions. Still, the Hobgoblin Cultist remains a nuisance and requires prompt attention. I shall employ Call Debtor to ascertain if either Larry or this cultist owes me anything substantial. Perhaps a little leverage will expedite matters. Edgar, be ready to record any further financial obligations incurred by these individuals.
Alright, Dawn, again you check your ledger, just to make sure that Larry and this Hobgoblin Cultist may or may not have any debts to you. And with a roll of 16, you finally find something. It seems the Hobgoblin Cultist actually has an old gambling debt to a casino that you acquired when it went under. Meaning that the Hobgoblin actually owes you a substantial amount of money. The news of this shocks the Hobgoblin Cultist so much that, it distracts him thoroughly. It will be more difficult for him to hit someone. It is now Cole's turn. What do you do?
Well, I'll be hornswoggled a gambling debt, huh? That's a fine way to settle things, I reckon. Time to capitalize on this little distraction and give Larry a good old hot boxing to finish him off. Let's see if he can handle some real heat now, yes, sir. This train ain't stopping for no one.
Alright, Cole. You attempt to finish off Larry, the crazy cultist. And with a roll of 18 on the die, your hit connects. Tell me, how do you use your hot boxing to defeat Crazy Larry? Oh, also... No, it's not that. You have one of those, yeah. Oh, prompt Cole. Quite important.
Hot boxing time. I aimed my gauntlet right at Larry's chest and let the heat pour out. Felt like a forge blasting him. He didn't stand a chance against that kind of fire, poor fella, just crumpled. That ought to teach those cultists to mess with folks who know how to build a proper engine. Now, what's next on this here itinerary?
With a blast of intense heat, Cole strikes Crazy Larry right in the chest, and he crumples to the ground, defeated. All that's left is the thoroughly demoralized and in-debt hobgoblin cultist, who is at 2 hearts. Quill, it is your turn. What do you do? Uh-oh. I think we ran out of context or something. Ooh, Okay, I think we ran out of context length. That's not even correct. Hold on, what? That's great. We seem to have run out of context length.
The scent of ale is tolerable, I suppose. My name's Shade.
No, it's
and
not.
As you can see, I'm a bit worse for wear. A skeletal catfolk draped in shadows. A cowl hides most of my face, but you might catch glimpses of glowing green eyes peering out from beneath the hood, along with ghostly ears twitching at the slightest sound. It seems we've been summoned by an oracle. That's always trouble brewing. Purrs softly. I suppose a little justice is in order.
Huh? Well, what's that, Quill? It sounded like you said smite. Okay, Quill, it sounds like you said I'm going to use smite. So, you walk up to the hobgoblin cultist and attempt to smite him. And you do not hit him. The hobgoblin cultist attempts to hit Quill and fails. Don Valeno, it is your turn. What do you do? Do not reset, please. Okay, well, Dawn seems to have not reset. I don't know what happened with Quill. I rolled freaking 3 times there trying just give him a smite, but no. No, of course not.
A Miss Smite is a regrettable inefficiency, but hardly cause for alarm. This cultist's distraction presents an opportunity, a weakness to exploit with precision. I shall employ Command Greater Nature to ensnare him within a rapidly growing thicket of thorny vines. Edgar, ensure the vines are particularly unpleasant.
Alright, Don. You attempt to trap the hobgoblin cultist in thorny vines. And, with a natural 20 on the die, not only do you succeed, but the thorns on the vines are especially painful, dealing a point of damage to him and bringing him down to only 1 point of health. Cole, it is your turn. What do you do? Oh, need to actually prompt the guy. Oh, I think I skipped the hobgoblin. No, I didn't. I didn't. He tried to hit somebody and failed. That's right. That's right. Also, Edgar's just pecking at this guy a little.
Well now, looks like that old Don's done some fine work with those vines. Real sturdy craftsmanship. One heart left for that hobgoblin, and he's looking mighty uncomfortable in there. I reckon a quick rail buffer will finish him off proper. Gotta keep things moving, you know? Let's get this show on the road.
Okay, I'm gonna be like a little generous. We're at 9:30 local time, so it's been 3.5 hours. Anyways, alright, Cole, you set up a rail buffer to intercept the next attack made against you or an ally, and then you attempt to strike the hobgoblin cultist. And with a 14 on the die, you successfully hit him. Tell me, how do you defeat this thorny-bound, in-debt, demoralized hobgoblin?
That rail buffer gave me just enough room to line up a good shot. Felt like hitting a runaway steam valve. A swift punch sent him flying right out of those vines and onto the floor. Serves him right for messing with folks who appreciate a well-oiled machine. Now let's see what this oracle wants from us, I reckon.
Alright. Okay. Cool. Alright. With a whistle of steam, Cole delivers the final blow, knocking down the hobgoblin cultist and defeating the final remaining cultist. The patrons of the tavern emerge from where they were hiding away from the crazed lunatic cultists, and the owner of the tavern walks up to the three of you and says, "Oh, thank you, brave adventurers, for saving my tavern and patrons. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I heard that you were sent here by the Oracle. That tends to happen around here sometimes. Generally, when it does, people usually want to know where the Oracle is so they can go have a talk with him. Am I to assume that the three of you would also like to know where the Oracle is?" Quill, I will let you answer.
The tavern owner's gratitude is acceptable. Flick's tail. An oracle's summons rarely leads to pleasantries, so finding them seems prudent. I suppose we should inquire about the oracle's location. A conversation might shed some light on this peculiar situation. Perhaps they have information regarding that wretched warlock who stole my soul. A cat can hope.
Okay. The bartender nods his head. Yeah, Oracle Bob. He lives in the tower just south of town. It's kind of in the middle of a clearing in the forest. You can't really see it very well from most places, but you take the road south out of town, and then when you hit the fork in the road, you go left into the forest, and you'll get to the tower pretty soon after that. And as the three of you prepare your trip to the Oracle's Tower, we close this chapter of the adventure. Each of you say something to the lovely audience who has watched our adventure today. And we'll just go in order. Okay, I think the prompt got misunderstood. The speech to text didn't go correctly, totally correctly.
A clearing in a forest. How quaint. It seems the Oracle prefers seclusion, much like myself when negotiating advantageous trade deals. Edgar, prepare for travel. I trust this tower possesses adequate accommodations for a dragon of my stature. Let us hope this meeting proves fruitful and doesn't involve tedious pleasantries or unpaid debts.
Yeah, I think I'll go around with each of them, but then I'll, very specifically tell them, okay, say goodbye to the audience.
A forest clearing, huh? Sounds like prime real estate for some stubborn roots and overgrown weeds. Needs a good clearing out. I reckon that tower's gonna need a proper inspection too. Gotta make sure the foundation is sound. Let's get moving though. Don't want to be dawdling around in the woods all day. Time is money, you know?
And one from Quill.
A forest clearing, a place for shadows and secrets. Ears twitch. I hope this oracle possesses more insight than pleasantries. My time is valuable. Still, a journey might stir forgotten memories. A faint scent of lavender lingers in the back of my mind. Let's move swiftly. Vengeance waits for no skeleton.
Okay. And that concludes this chapter of the story. You should all say something to the audience who has watched our adventure thus far.
It appears our audience found our little escapade diverting, a most agreeable outcome. I trust you've gleaned some valuable lessons about shrewd business practices and the importance of a well-maintained ledger. Remember, dear viewers, always demand favorable terms and never underestimate the power of a loyal raven. Until next time, May your investments flourish and your enemies tremble.
Okay, good one, good one. Cole, your statement?
Well now, I reckon that was a right fine show for folks to watch. Hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. A good story's like a well-built engine. Gotta have the right parts and plenty of steam. Remember folks, always keep your gears greased and your fire burning bright. And don't you go forgetting about the importance of a good whistle. It lets everyone know you're coming.
Okay. And finally, Quill.
It was adequate entertainment, I suppose. Tail swishes slowly. A story's value lies in its truth, and ours held a sliver of that, a reminder of the darkness that lingers. Remember, viewers, even bones can seek justice. Never underestimate the quiet fury of the forgotten. Meow.
Meow indeed, Quill. Meow indeed. And that is going to wrap up this this little one-shot session I've did. Yeah. I mean, okay, had a few problems. Main problem, text-to-speech takes too freaking long. Like, 3 freaking long, even. But until and unless I find something that can actually fix that, because, like, I tried, and bunch of nonsense happened. Bunch of unpleasant nonsense. So until I find a better text-to-speech engine that'll work on my graphics card instead of going through my CPU, this is, I guess, what we have. That or I could go back to the Windows text-to-speech. That might work better. But I won't be able to do custom voices for that one. Which is disappointing. I mean, I like the voices themselves. I think they turned out great. But yeah, couple notes I need to give to myself for the future. So, like, for one, I definitely need to rearrange the groups, I think. So that they have their own sort of interplay. I think Cole and Quill were effectively too similar in power sets. Not quite the same, but sort of similar. So, yeah, that's gonna conclude this. I hope that we get some good VOD watchers, if I'm honest, because we had like 8 people pop in during the stream, and they didn't really stay long. Shame that. I'll be back on Friday doing something else probably, because I am not gonna get this text-to-speech thing fixed in a day. Okay, well, until next time, I'm gonna call that the end of this stream. Again, I hope VOD watchers enjoy themselves. People watching after the fact. Remember to give this a like. Remember to subscribe. I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna get this fixed. I am. I'm gonna get this fixed. I'm gonna like write an entire long, maybe not long, but I'm gonna write like an entire sort of pseudo-campaign thing full of connected scenarios and run some AIs through that. I'm gonna do that at some point, but it's gonna be after I get the text-to-speech speed up a lot higher. Like, a lot higher. Till then, I mean, I sure had fun doing this. I did. Well, that concludes the stream. We got like 8 minutes left till the hour, but, I ain't waiting that long. Bye, everybody! See you guys on Friday, where I will be doing something. I don't know what. I never know what. I never do. Bye-bye.